Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Bill, SITREP 6 or SITREP Podcast, and I'm starting part 2 of our painting of War Without Hate from Warlord games. This again was that special set that came with, as a bonus when I ordered the Epic Battles American Civil War pre-order bundle. This was a 2018 exclusive mini. Obviously they had a few left, so they decided to send them out with this, which I thought was a nice little addition. So we're going to work on finishing these guys up. We're getting them close in this next set here. This video should be roughly 30 to 40 minutes in length. We'd like to keep these short, just so you have a little bit to watch. So in further conversation on our Discord channel, I learned that this is actually supposed to be taking place in the desert. Which I can understand now, because, you know, before it's like, what is this? But it's not a kilt, those are shorts. For whatever reason, the British wore shorts in war. Hey, good for them. So, we're going to go ahead and start working on this guy. And I'm pulling some paint, thinning it out, and I'm using some Iraqi sand to paint his helmet. Again, just very thin coats. And just... Sorry guys. Working along the underside of his helmet here. That was distinctively British in World War II. Alright, we're going to let that dry up for a second. And then we'll do a second coat. So while that's drying, we'll go ahead to our German soldier here. I'm going to switch places. Oh, finger stuck. I had my finger wrapped the wrong way. Then we'll go ahead and do his helmet. Now for his helmet, I'm actually going to be using khaki. Here, let me show you the paints we're using, just so you have a reference point. So model color Iraqi sand for the British helmet, and model color khaki for the German helmet. Pull out some paint, make sure it's nice and thin, and we'll go to town here. And then if we get the camera to focus on it, hopefully we can lock that into place and it won't. Now remember, our paint is brighter wet and will darken as it dries. And let's see if I don't paint his goggles. Okay, and then we'll paint up his strap later. Alright, so there's that. We still got to paint the leather strap here, his bread tin, I believe that's what that was, his weapon boots, etc. So alright, I'm going to let him dry, bring the British guy back in. We'll do the second coat on his helmet. Again, I'm using Iraqi sand. Thin coat. Tone it down so don't get panicky. I actually like using Iraqi sand for skin tones. I think it goes on well for skin tones. Okay. So, we still have, again, we'll have to finish up his uniform, skin tone, rifle, boots, and I want to put some shading on his coat. And I think I'm going to do the shading now while it dries. So I'm going to use some soft tone from the Army Painter Quick Shade. Light shake, you don't want too many bubbles in this. I think it'll give us the right color. Alright, so I'll go ahead and load our brush. And go ahead and pop that in there. Sorry guys, hand was getting in the way. I gotta do the buttons on his jacket yet. I'm not sure what color the buttons were on their uniforms back then. Straps, I'm assuming were brown leather, so I need to get my leather. We need some wood and go from there. So, alright, I'm gonna switch guys out real quick. It's almost dry. We'll let that dry a second. Grab a swig of coffee. And let's see. For the wood furniture, the stuff, I'm going to be going with scale 75 intense wood. We'll start there and we'll work our way around. Alright, let's go ahead and do up. So this is definitely a Lee Enfield, because I actually own this exact model of rifle in working condition. I have shot it on the range several times. Love it. It's such a heavy weapon. I can imagine having to slug that baby around all the time. Alright, we'll let that first coat dry. We'll do the second. I'll do our German soldier now, because he has a rifle as well. And getting all the nooks and crannies of that weapon. Just like so. Alright. So look at this helmet. See how toned down that helmet is now? We're gonna do the strap. We'll do his glasses. I'll probably use special paint for the goggles. I have those turbo dork paints. I'll see if I can find one that's not so obnoxious. And we'll go from there. Some of them are very bright, you know, they're meant for like different things to really make things stand out. So, alright. Looking good. Alright, we need some black while we let the wood dry. And we still need a leather for the webbing or straps. Let's see. Contrast black Templar. Alright. I don't spill it all over the place. Again, I'm not a big fan of pots. Hey. It's alright. I can't remember if their boots are black or are they brown. So, but we're gonna go with some black just as an offset color on this. So, if it's not 100% historically accurate, I apologize. But for this, I just want to contrast in. Contrast in the boots. We'll let that dry. We'll switch over to the German soldier. Grab a little bit of paint. And paint up his boots. Inside of them, like so. I'm debating on whether doing like mud splatter on these guys. I don't know. We'll have to see. All right, that's done. Oh no, I can do his strap on his helmet. Steady hands. Okay. All right. There we go. Okay, that's done, let's take a look and see what else we have. So we have strap, ooh, buttons. All right, excuse me. I'm going to switch brushes here real quick. I'm going to use a specialized brush for the buttons. You should have it sitting right here. So what I'm using is a Signature Series brush. The Katana. And what's so special about that is it is a silicone brush tip. So we can do buttons in finer points. Just grab the tip and use, oops, sorry guys, let me lock the focus in there for you. Just putting it on the tip there. And just tapping it where you want it to go. Like so. Looks like he's got some buttons there. It's hard to... Okay. And the back of his jacket. Looks like there should be buttons there. So we'll tap. Get some more paint and tap there, tap there, and give you nice little buttons. Okay. All right, we'll switch over to the German. Oop. And the German has buttons. Really only right there, so there's like one button to touch up here. Let me fix the focus here, and we're just gonna tap that button right there. There you go. Okay, I don't see any other, oh wait, I see a button right there. Right there. Okie dokie. So now we'll go ahead and move on to the next thing. I'm going to do his leather straps and his meal container. And I'm going to switch this in just so you have something to look at, because unfortunately the German guy's on a regular painting handle, Citadel painting handle, and it's a little short. So I'm going to clean off my brush. We'll lock him in place. It almost looks the same tone as the other one. Just painting the strap. Take your time. Don't be in a rush. Yeah, there's a little bit of a difference now I can see as it layers on. Okay. Alright, so we have his strap coming along. Alright, let me take the focus lock off. There we go. So now it wants to go back there. Alright, let's do the same with our German friend here. I'll probably put a little bit of silver or metallic on the end of that as the metal hardware to the sling. And it goes right underneath there. Alright, so now we gotta do this strap here. I could go down to a 0 brush, but I think the 1 will be fine. I have brushes that go all the way down to quad 0. But they're really hard to control, to be honest with you. I mean, it has a purpose, but that looks good. It looks real good. Except, where does the other part of the strap? I'm assuming it should be right there. So we'll put it in. Okay. Here we go. Oops, sorry guys. Got you out of frame there. All right. Okay. That's going along nicely. We'll go ahead and do another coat on the rifle itself. I'll go switching out of the chestnut into the intense wood. There we go. All right, it's looking good. Let's finish back here. It's looking real good. All right, I'll do the British soldier. Get some of this paint on my brush here, load it up. Looking good. All right. There we go. Brown's coming along nicely. Okay. So, his helmet. Still rather bright, so I have a little bit of this soft tone left. We're gonna tone down this helmet, just a light coat. Bring it down just a little bit more. Pick up some of this extra. Get it off there. Like so. Alright, we'll let that dry and see how that looks. Okay? Looks much better. Alright, so I think it's time to work on the skin tone. Now, I've already used Iraqi sand on the helmet, which again, like I said before, I do like it as a skin tone. And I use khaki, so I have to go to a skin tone. They're in the desert, so you assume they've been tanned up a little bit. So let's see what we're going to use. We'll use some Kesla flesh. How about that? Alright, so we're going to use Kesla flesh. Again, not a big fan of pots, but hey, it's alright. I'm just going to put some on my wet palette so I can thin it out better. I don't need a lot. We'll see. Alright, clean the brush. Okay. So, make sure some water. Thin this. The problem with flesh painting is if you put it on too thick, it just looks like pasted, right? So, make sure your brush is dry. You don't want it too runny. But you want the paint thin and nice coats. And it's going to take a couple of coats. Alright, here we go. Barely on the brush. Oh yeah, not loading. Okay. Is it thin coat? I meant thin coat. Alright, that's one. Again, remember, stuff will tone down. As it dries. And you want to do several coats. Okay. And just take your time. Just take your time. And just get a decent base. So like that. Okay. And then you can always do a second coat, you know, thin coats. Remember, we don't want any gloop on the flesh paint. Sorry. Just like this. Because if you get too thick, like I said, it'll get nasty. And it's starting to thicken up on my brush. I could tell that by the way it was, I threw a little bit of water in this. Going on that guy. Alright, I'm going to take just a damp brush and I'm going to thin out paint that's already on him because like I said, it was starting to gloop up. Let's go ahead and do his face. right. We're going to let that one dry again. And go back. And do our next coat on this gentleman. Just like so. And do his neck and his face. Just like that. Nice thin coats. And you start getting the nice detail coming out. So we are going to use a flesh wash here in a second to bring out some more detail and then to see where we're going to highlight the skin tone and go from there. So, alright, let's just do a quick survey of the guy while we're alright, that rifle's looking good. That's going to need a good drying. Oop, well, this, I was going to say we missed a spot here. However, that's going to be the metal barrel, so I'm not too worried about that. The coat looks good. So, even though I use the soft tone on there, my final wash that I like to use is nun oil. I think it creates a good separation between the layers and the details. I like using the soft tones and the other army painter tones to help establish a nice base, but I think the nun oil creates excellent. So here, these socks, I am going to paint a darker green. I think I'm going to go with not a darker green. Sorry, olive drab. Do I have olive drab? I do have drab something here. I saw it. You know what? I think we're going to go with this instead. Sorry, guys. I'm changing my mind. We're going to go with beige. Now, I'm just doing this more for contrast. Again, if this isn't realistic, I apologize. And remember, like I said before, it'll dry darker. Okay, there we go. Just a little, provide contrast and go from there. All right. Let's look at our German friend, because I think he needs another coat on his flesh. Okay. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna let him sit a second. Thankfully, it's pretty warm today. Not humid in the workshop, so I do need to straighten stuff out, though. All right, it's time for some flesh washing. Light tone. Bring some of that over here. doke. Let's see. And sorry guys. Let me lock it in focus. Okay, let me wipe this excess off on this hand. There's way too much on there. There we go. And then to the face. Again, thin coats. You have to wash, you want it to sit on there. And take your wash. There we go. Now, let's detail up more. Let me take the auto lock off so you can see them. Let me see if I can zoom in on them for you. There you go. How's that? Look better? So now we're actually starting to see details. Got a little puddling here. Let me grab that real quick. There we go. All right, perfect. Looking good. Looking real good. And look at his socks that I painted. See, it dries and it's nice and dark. So now it looks like he has gaiters on his boots. I might paint those brown because I think those were brown. So you know what? We are going to paint those brown, and we're going to use the material we use for straps, and we're just going to paint the gaiters. Brown. Bada bing, bada boom. Missed the spot on its stocking. So, I will come over here, grab some of this, and paint it up. Okay. Looking good. So I've got some colors to contrast. Skin tone looks good. I'll go ahead and do the shading on him. Wipe my brush. Grab some tone. And go to town. Okay. To the face. Perfect. Look at that. All right. So we'll let that dry up. And we'll go on from there. All right, guys. So that is going to finish up this part 2. I'm doing this in real time for you guys so you can see what it takes to paint up a couple guys really well. And you know, this isn't an edited down version, so you can see. Obviously there'll be some cuts, you know, here and there, but nothing that takes out the time or context, and just editing for oopsies. But this is where we're at stage 2. Stage 2. All right, guys. There, we're getting there. So This is Bill, SITREP 6 for the SITREP podcast. Thank you for joining us for part 2 of War Without Hate from Warlord Games, as we paint up these diorama models. And we will see you in part 3. Take care. Bye-bye.